The Screwtape Letters, the C.S. Lewis classic. I've seen it. I've seen Max McLean perform a number of C.S. Lewis works. I saw the Screwtape Letters at Billy Graham Center at Wheaton College. I think it was the Screwtape Letters. I believe he also did, now this is going from memory and it's fading, but I think he also did the fictional debate between C.S. Lewis and Sigmund Freud on the existence of God. Anyway, it's always outstanding performances. I'd like to watch him do, the entirety of C.S. Lewis's oeuvre. Max McLean, a Fellowship for Performing Arts founder and artistic director. He's the director of the Screwtape Letters, which will play September 13th and 14th at the Athenaeum Center on 2936 North Southport in Chicago. Screwtape Letters, September 13th and 14th at the Athenaeum Center in Chicago. And we're going to give away 2 tickets after the segment to a caller to be determined, caller number to be determined later. But anyway, Max McLean, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you.
So the, give us sort of a preview of, how you do a CS, in this case, the Screwtape Letters, obviously, but how you sort of conceive of putting on a C.S. Lewis performance to, sort of convey his great insights into, man, as well as, the sort of the morals of the stories that he wrote.
Right. Well, the Screwtape Letters is an epistolary novel that Lewis never intended for the stage, but there is a story within the book, and it's essentially a predator-prey story where Screwtape is the predator and this unsuspecting human on Earth is the prey. And so the question the play asks, using all the writings of Lewis to tell this story, is whether the predator will get its prey.
Well, right, and he's writing to his nephew Wormwood and explaining and sort of providing mentorship to him. So it's sort of the transference of how to seize souls, if you will, and there's where you get the insights into the human condition.
Exactly. What's, the fine art of tempting somebody that is on Earth. And unlike, we sort of have been shaped by movies like The Exorcist and that sort of thing. So we think of spiritual warfare in those kind of big, ugly terms, whereas Lewis sees them in everyday little decisions that you make that change your heart. And so he's really focusing on those tiny everyday decisions. We make every day. We make 100 decisions a day, a week. Multiply that, a year, a lifetime. And Lewis concludes that central part of us that does the choosing, the soul, after every choice, is either getting closer to heaven or closer to hell. And he's instructing Wormwood, as you say, how to make sure that he doesn't go towards the enemy. The enemy is God in the story.
And what he describes too, as you're explaining, is what Pope Benedict would describe as. The devil doesn't come dressed as the devil; it comes dressed as a false good. It's these false goods. It's not, as you say, it's not something that's obviously occult or obviously evil. It's the false goods we fall prey to.
Yeah, he is so right on in that observation.
And just to take a step back, like your focus on C.S. Lewis, fascination, if I may, with C.S. Lewis. Where did this all begin?
Well, I've been doing our mission Fellowship for Performing Arts, a New York City-based theater and film company. that produces theater and film from a Christian worldview meant to engage a diverse audience. And by diversity, we mean intellectual, religious diversity rather than, racial or gender diversity. So the kind of the only diversity you doesn't get diversity. So anyways, so when you have that as a mission, it's not going to be too long before you land on the work of C.S. Lewis. Primarily because, my goodness, he read everything from the Greeks to the moderns. He had a steel-trap mind that could remember everything he read and had this remarkable ability to translate it all into magnificent prose and speech. And then he did it all under the headship of Christ. And as you said earlier about Benedict's comment, he really understood that Satan masquerades as an angel of light, and you have to put on the armor of God. And so Lewis found ways of saying that really struck chords with that people that may not share the same religious viewpoint as he.
Yeah, I anytime we bring up C.S. Lewis and talk about him in sort of a cultural context, I can't help but think of Joy Behar's comment, and I can't remember who it was that said that she was influenced by C.S. Lewis, her favorite author, C.S. Lewis, and Joy Behar, because this was a conservative Republican. Joy Behar on The View said that, sort of scoffed and said that C.S. Lewis is a children's book author. You must be such right? You must be an intellectual. She knows like Chronicles of Narnia, and she thinks, it's just she probably just saw the movie, and she thinks C.S. Lewis is a children's book author, which probably a lot of people, not listening to their show necessarily, but a lot of people do.
I think that's right. Even though if you read the Narnia Chronicles closely, the level of theological insight within those stories is really at a very high level. Oh, no,
no question. I mean, that's why Joy Behar was her own unintentional punchline, right? But just going back, when you started out in the arts, I mean, did you want to be? Yep. Did you want to be Paul Newman or Burt Reynolds?
I did. I didn't look like either one of them, so
so that was precluded.
Yes, that was precluded. But actually, I had I started acting in college, and I had a religious conversion experience soon after I graduated. And that took me to drama school in London, and I saw just such magnificent theater there. But what was interesting was that the plays that I would see, and most of them were classical to Shakespeare and really good writers, they always included in their writing, at least in part, very precise and imaginative explored Christian themes. And before my conversion, that would have went by me like a freight train. But after I was so, it just so grabbed my spirit. So that was how the idea of integrating my faith and my work came together. Just seeing the great plays executed at a very high level, really touching my heart in a deep way because they didn't hide the Christian themes within them, and so that was a big motivator.
Do you ever? I mean, I mentioned you did do the fictional conversation between Freud and C.S. Lewis on the existence of God, right? Did you do that?
No, that was someone. I didn't do that. That was Mark Germain, who's a friend of mine. Of course, they've made a film of it. Yeah. What we've done. And we've been to Chicago multiple times. Yeah. We were at we did the Screwtape Letters at the Mercury Theater in Southport for like 6 months back in the day. We've done multiple shows at the College of DuPage. We've done shows. Did
you do the Great Divorce too?
Yes, we did the Great Divorce at the College of DuPage, and we want to bring that back. We also had a show called The Most Reluctant Convert, which we made into a movie.
I did see that. Okay, that's what I'm thinking of. That's what I'm thinking of.
And then we had Further Up, Further In. So we've kind of in the Lewis world for a long time. We've done other shows as well, but the shows that have the most traction for us have been the adaptation of Lewis's work.
Yeah, the Most Reluctant Convert. I mean, that's the C.S. Lewis conversion story, which happened while in the academy. I mean, he didn't start out as this Christian apologist.
No, he was a hard-boiled, vigorous debunker of Christianity, and through a long process, including a very intimate conversation with J.R.R. Tolkien and others, he, as he says, he gave in and admitted that God is God, knelt and prayed, perhaps that night, the most reluctant convert in all England.
Yeah, that was very good. Do you ever, in the adaptations of C.S. Lewis's work, I'm thinking like sometimes what they do at the Shakespeare Theater in Chicago, which is they'll put one of Shakespeare's classics in a modern context, like Othello will take place in more, it won't be the War of Cyprus in the 1600s. It'll be something that's like almost a modern day war context, just to add some sort of present application for it or a different spin on it. And I just wonder if you, from what I've seen of your work, it's pretty true to the strictures of the stories.
Yeah,
but do you,
although I don't,
do you ever think about that?
Yeah, I do, and you're right. I mean, we follow the text pretty closely, but I do think that you could, what you're suggesting absolutely could be done. In fact, we just got the exclusive rights, worldwide rights, to make a film of the Screwtape Letters, and as we begin the script writing process for translating the book to the film, which you really have to open it up. That way, we probably will take a very close look at setting it, in contemporary times, so that you can deal with. And of course, the problem with contemporary times is, every time, 10 years from now, whatever cell phone you have in your hand is going to be obsolete. So,
yeah, right.
So it's going to date it that way. So you have to be careful how much you do.
Yeah, you're going to have to sort of work in some AI motif or something. Yeah, right. Max McLean, as you can tell, I mean, always fantastic productions. I'm sure this one will be no exception. The Screwtape Letters, September 13th and 14th at the Athenaeum Center, 2936 North Southport in the city. Max McLean is the founder and artistic director of the Fellowship for Performing Arts, as he was describing. And we will give 2 tickets away to the Saturday 8 p.m. show to whoever is our fifth caller at 312-642-5600. Fifth caller, 312-642-5600. 2 tickets to the Screwtape Letters, Saturday, 8 o'clock at the Athenaeum Theater in Southport. And for the rest of you, you're going to have to buy them yourself. Max McLean, thanks so much for joining us, and best of luck with the shows.
Thank you.
And he joined us on the Turnkey.pro answer line.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Dennis Prager here for AmFed Coin and Bullion. I've always been a strong believer in precious metals investment, and I've always been fascinated with rare coin collecting. But owning the wrong coins that only make dealers a lot of money